everyone, and welcome to Jack Cat Adventures. Today we're going to make ice cream cake, and what you need is a cup of pecans, and put them on a pan like this. You're going to want your oven up to 350, and we're going to roast these. Now you need to stand by the oven and watch them because they will burn so fast, because these nuts have a lot of oil in them, and it'll go from smelling really good to burnt in an instant. So keep an eye on them. I'm going to put them in, and I'll let you know how long mine took. So these took about 12 minutes. Now what you want is these to cool completely. You need to smell them to know they're done. It'll be like a rich nut flavor smell. It'll smell delicious. You'll know when you smell it when they're done. So we're going to let this cool, and then we'll come back with the rest of the recipe. Alright, so my nuts, I cooked them, they've cooled. I used my mini food processor and just pulsed them until they're pretty fine. So in a mixing bowl, you're going to add 1 stick of butter. I prefer using salted butter in this recipe. It does give it a little bit of a more rounder flavor in the crust. Okay, and then I'm going to add 1.5 cups of flour, and I'm just going to mix this up. Again, I must have been born in the ancient times when they didn't have any electricity. And you're just going to get this mixed a little bit together. I'm assuming like pie dough. That's what you want it to look like. Let me just rub this down with my thing. So I got this new mixer, and this is the first time I'm trying it out, and I'm hoping that it'll replace my KitchenAid. I'm hoping I like it enough to keep it and get rid of my KitchenAid. My KitchenAid's really old, and the bearing's bad on it, and I need to send it in, and I think it's going to cost me more to have it fixed than to replace it. I mean, I think it's like 33 years old. I think it's 33 years old. Okay, now that this is crumbled, I'm going to add a cup of nuts. And I'm using 1/2 cup measure cup, so it'll be 2 of these. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Hold on a minute. Way. If you have any left over, just put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze them. Alright, so let's mix this again. Alright, this looks perfect. Now, you're going to need your oven preheated at 350, and you're going to put this in a 9x13 pan, which I have right here. Now you're going to press it down into your pan. So let's pour it in and we'll see. Okay. I'm just going to push it to the sides, just make it even everywhere. I'm just putting it in this one because it just, you can, when you're done eating the dessert, just throw it away. You really want it patted down tight in there. Kind of mess with it, it'll go around. Alright, so I have the crust all tapped in, and just get it as good as you can. So now we're going to place this crust in the oven And I'm going to check it at 10 minutes and see. We want it light brown. Alright, this took 20 minutes in the oven. And as you can see, come in here, Jack. Around the edges, it's just a light brown. That's what you're looking for. Now, this has to cool completely before we can move on to our next step. So I'll let this cool and we'll get back to you. Alright, so our crust is cool now, so we can move on to the next step. Mine cracked a little bit. Don't worry about it because the jello, the pudding that goes into it, kind of hold it together. Don't worry about it. So in your mixing bowl, you're going to add 1 cup of powdered sugar and 1 8-ounce cream cheese. And we're just going to mix that till it's mixed together. You want it pretty creamy. Okay, I'm going to scrape down my bowl. This is coming together real quick. It comes together quickly after the crust. It'll come together real quick for you guys. And just remember, this is a day ahead making, so you got to pull your stuff out the night before, make it, and then serve it the next day. Unless you can get a good, I would say 8 hours of it in the refrigerator, I don't think it'll be ready. So there is a little planning with this, but it's worth it. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this up a little bit more. Wow. Okay, now what we're going to do is clean off our mixer. And yes, I washed my fingers. No worries here. Okay. Now what you're going to do is make sure all this is mixed in. Get one good quick mix with your spatula. Just make sure it gets really good on the bottom. I have to say this mixer really mixes well. I mean, even the bottom where like your KitchenAids, where the bowl comes up and the bottom has that round lump in the inside the bowl where you have to keep stirring around it. This has a little bit of one, but you don't have to scrape around it. The mixer does it itself. Okay, so I'm going to take a 8-ounce container of Cool Whip and we're just going to fold it in. Now remember, folding is not stirring. So take a little bit, put it in, and then we're going to go from the bottom to the top. Bottom to the top until it's all mixed in well. If you beat this in, it will not be light and airy. Okay, I'm just going to add the rest of this. Okay. Now I'm just going to fold it in. You want to make sure there's no big pockets of cream cheese. You want it all really smooth. So make sure you fold it in good. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put this over your crust. This crust smells so good. Okay, now I'm just going to take an offset spatula, push it to the sides, make it even. just going to make this even as possible. It's a little hard in this pan because the corners are really rounded, but it'll work. Okay, just wipe that off. Okay, now, once you get this pretty even, then what we're going to do, we're going to take two small chocolate instant puddings and 3 cups of milk. And we're just going to whisk that together. You don't need to mix it with the mixer or anything. Okay. So. And here's how that looks with that on there. And then I'm just going to put my Jell-O in here. My pudding, not my Jell-O pudding. Okay. Okay, now 3 cups of milk into that. I'm going to add my milk to this. And I'm going to whisk it until it's a little firm. You know how instant pudding kind of thickens up? That's how we want it. Now you guys can see better. Make sure you really stir this good so you don't have any powders, you know, like some powder from the pudding sometimes gets clumped together. Make sure you don't have any clumps. And as you can see, this has come together really fast. It's already thickening up. You don't want it like in the refrigerator thick. You just want it a little thicker so that it'll stay on top of your cream cheese. Alright, and that's about good. See, it's just a little runny, not bad. And then what we're going to do, we're going to pour that right over the top of our thing. Hold on 1 second. I need to clean up a little bit here. Let me see. There we go. Got it. I knew it was in there somewhere. Okay, so let's just pour it over the top. Okay. Just going to spread it around like so. This looks so nice. Okay. Let me just get that off. I don't want to waste any. Okay, now what we're going to do, sorry guys, I'm not ready today. Been a really busy day. Okay, now I just want to. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put our Cool Whip on top. This looks really nice. And this feeds a lot of people too, because it's kind of a rich dessert. So when you cut it, I cut small squares at first and let people come back for seconds. Okay. Now this is going to go in the refrigerator overnight and it'll be ready to serve in the morning. Alright, so our dessert has set overnight and it's nice and firm, and so we're going to cut it. Alright you guys, so here's the cake cut and it looks really, really nice. It has all the layers, as you can see, and it is delicious. So please try this, and if you do, let me know how you liked it and what could be changed or whatever. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and remember, you do you.